So, so, you want to be a, you want to be a dungeon master.
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Justin. And this week, we're joined by author of such classics as The Practical Guide. What is it called? The Practical Guide to the Supernatural Hanging with Vampires. Co-creator of Slobber Knocker Supernova. Curator of character-specific playlists. Star in our next actual play, Oops, All Healers, as Dr. Louis Grimshaw. Friend of the pod, Insha Fitzpatrick. Insha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I am super excited to be here.
Amazing. Thrilled to have you. Can't wait to talk and get into it. There might be times in this interview where we might be at odds. But the important thing to know is, number one, I got your back. And at the end of this, we're still going to be bestest of friends.
I love
and that's
that.
what's most important.
That's the nature of friendship.
Exactly. So today we're going to be talking to Insha about a bunch of questions, a bunch of things going on about themselves, and about how to get into character. So without further ado, let's jump into it. But first, always got to be the first. Insha, can you think of like top 3 characters from your childhood that sort of inspired your love of storytelling as an author, a TTRPG player, all those things?
Yeah, I feel like they're all gonna be like so randomly specific.
Oh yeah.
Rochelle from The Craft, that was a big
Whoa.
one. She
Okay.
is like,
Yeah.
she's like my number one inspiration every time like I want to create like just like a Black woman that's like misunderstood.
Mhm.
Because like there's not a lot that we see of Rochelle in The Craft, and there's a lot of like things that are like left on the back burner and stuff like that. So like every single time I think of like a character from my childhood, I'm always just like, Rochelle from The Craft was meant a lot to me. Shout out to Rachel True. You'll never see this, but I love you so much. And this is not from childhood, but this is from like, I'm a huge reality show nerd.
Oh, would
This
not have guessed that actually.
I'm
That
a
genuinely
huge,
surprises me.
like, but I guess for like right now in like in the realm of things, Katie Maloney from Vanderpump Rules is a really big inspiration. Like,
Yeah.
like
Bit of a
the way,
character.
yeah, the way that she just kind of like immediately just hauls off and just says what she wants to say. Not
Mm,
only an inspiration for like
I have
characters,
one
but
of
also
those.
inspiration for life.
Wait till you get to my list. I have one of those. You just made me think of it actually. It wasn't on my list. It's on my list and it is from reality TV. I can't wait. Okay. Please
And
continue.
then
Sorry.
no. And then the third one, I'm gonna do a third one, and then I'm gonna do an honorable mention because like I think these two
Nice.
people kind of like shape how I also watch movies, but also how I see characters and like the kind of like levels of what's happening. So the third one is Norman Bates from Psycho.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
he means a lot to me, and first of all just have a crush on Anthony Perkins just in general, and then two, there's so many deep layers within that film, that with his character especially, and I just every time I watch it, I think about something new and I want to dive into something deeper and all this other stuff. And then the
Mhm.
honorable mention is The Invisible Man, the original
Oh,
Invisible Man, because I love
whoa.
me some Griffin. He is a madman. And that's a lot of what I tried to bring to Louis. So that's why I wanted to circle back to the honorable mention.
Oh, whoa. I can't wait to get more into that. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. The
I need
Invisible
to know
Man.
yours now.
Wow. So mine are also out of like so scattered and crazy and like uh the first one I'll tell you is Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, that
I
feels so
love
perfect.
Wile E. Coyote. I love Wile E. Coyote. I can't tell you how often I reference Wile E. Coyote as a reference of how it doesn't matter what the physics are of your world as long as you stay true to them. And like the idea of Looney Tunes and like Wile E. Coyote running off a cliff and not falling until he looks down, and how important it is that he looks down before he falls. And it's like, oh, I love this shit. And I just love the specific cartoons where he talks, because he doesn't talk in many of them, but in some of them he talks. And he sounds like this. Wile E. Coyote, evil genius. And it's awesome.
Never knew he talked.
Yeah,
That's
it's awesome. There's
incredible.
episodes where he goes up against Bugs Bunny, where it's like him versus Bugs Bunny, and he'll talk every once in a while. It's awesome. Man, is it funny. That dastardly Acme company. If that honorable mention, Acme the company. It taught me to hate capitalism early on. Number two that you inspired from me is from a reality TV show my sister watches, and she'll send me clips and be like, "Oh my god, this is my favorite. I wish I was her," but kind of in a more funny way. Big Ange from Mob Wives. He
Hometown
got me a
hero.
puppy. Like, just what was he in jail for? For murder. But he got me a puppy. And just like the way she talks, like as somebody who like from a DM perspective, like loves doing voices, loves like getting into these like kooky characters, is obsessed with like East Coast and just like repping where I'm from. Because I'm white and I have no culture otherwise. So like I have to be like, this is it. This is all I have. It's like East Coast, right? Like that, and I'm Italian. But and the smattering of every other thing. But so it's like Big Ange has always just been like, God, every time she's inspired so many characters, and then also any other kind of like older woman who's from like the East Coast, Northeast specifically, like New Jersey, New York area, that just sort of like, oh, darling, how you doing? Like, I love that. I love it so much. Um, a third character is near and dear to my heart. When it was like one of those things that you would get at the Scholastic Book Fair. Um, Captain Underpants.
Oh.
I love Captain Underpants. I was a big fan. I remember even at the time, it's so weird to think about this, and it sounds a little conceited, but I even remember being in like third or fourth grade and being like, I love the comedy of how long the titles are. These like ridiculously long titles. It's like Captain Underpants and then it's like 15 other words, all usually in alliteration. I was obsessed with how they did that. I loved the little flip back action books, whatever. The whole concept of he's just like a normal principal who's being hypnotized into thinking he's Captain Underpants. So funny. I definitely stole a hypno ring from a book fair one time. I walked by, ripped the plastic, and just took that. I haven't stolen much in my life, but that I remember that one.
You're gonna
And
steal
I
something, you gotta make
remember,
it meaningful.
yeah, you got it. It's up here now, and I have that memory forever. I don't have the hypno ring anymore, but I have the memory of taking it. So, but yeah, those three stick in my head big time. I love characters. I love like now that I'm older in life and I've like started getting into like anime a little bit more in my older life. Like I don't think I watched with the exception of like things that I didn't even know were anime at the time, like Dragon Ball Z or like simple things on Toonami or you know, like Pokemon. Uh I didn't really watch anime until I was like easily in my 30s,
Oh
and then like
wow.
started really diving into it. Now I've seen so like an embarrassing amount in such a short time. But like hundreds of episodes of One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, like all of them. I've done so much. And I love all of those shows because of how deep the casts are. And you get to meet everybody, not to mention like the DM nerdy side of being like, which power does everybody have? And how they
that
do it differently. Like that's always fun. But
that also reminds me of another character but like especially since you mentioned anime.
mhm,
Um Anthe from Utena was another like really
I don't
big
know this
one
one.
for me. It first of all tragic. That it's like the
What's the
saddest
anime?
thing. Utena, Utena. I think it's either Utena or Utena or Utena.
Is it like an older series?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I see
And like
this.
she's Anthe is like the partner of, not like partner as in like the no partner, but like it has like a lot of like, if anybody out there is like wants to just like celebrate Pride Month in the most tragic of ways,
Oh,
Utena like not only inspired like me as a like bisexual person, but at the same exact time, just you know, in the movie she turns into a car. So
whoa.
just watch it for the sword fighting. Thirsty Sword Lesbians is actually, I think, based off of a little bit of Utena. Um,
It
and
does look aesthetically.
like, if you want to celebrate sad Pride Month in the saddest way possible, that anime is for y'all.
Hell yeah. Gang, you heard it here first. Check out Utena. Oh my god, I love this. I just watched an older anime film too. It's like a really famous one, Perfect Blue.
Oh,
Dude, it fucked me up. I watched it
it's
in the middle of the day. The
like,
windows were open and shit. It's crazy. I was like pausing every few seconds, like going, turning, looking at my roommate, being like, is this real? Am I dreaming? I don't know
that was,
what's happening. The character doesn't know. I don't know.
that was the third anime I've ever watched in my life.
That's crazy.
Like,
That's crazy. Whoa.
because my like cousin was just like, I think you'd like this, and I was just like, sure. Watched it. Still perfect movie.
It
100%
was
one of the
so good.
best movies I've ever seen, especially like just be it being anime, but like holy God.
It's
I
so
need her to have a good
good.
day.
Like,
Like,
I can't tell you how much I appreciated certain things they did in that movie that I was just like, oh, like one of the really simple editing tricks I like to do that you do like in the production of things is like, you're like filming, like imagine I'm filming a selfie thing. For audio listeners, you got to tune into the YouTube. We have video versions now, link in the description. But if I'm doing like a selfie cam kind of thing and I finish my point and then I kind of like move my head and then in the next shot, I'm like
yes.
moving my head. So
Yes.
then you kind of cut in the middle of that movement. And they were doing, obviously, it's animation, there is no camera, but they were treating the framing of the animations, like the shots of like as if there were cameras, which I know a lot of beautiful anime that does that and stuff. Like, we're going to talk about how beautiful Akira was and how much you appreciate the cinematography of the animation itself. But without further ado, let's get into the meat of the episode. But before I do that, gang, you got to check out the Patreon. Gang, listen to me. I've been practicing a Jerry Seinfeld impression. Listen, check out the Patreon, gang. That's as good as it's gonna get. All right, meat of the episode. I've had a crazy day today, hence my energy. Because like I made a TikTok video about it, but like I walked out of the dispensary today right almost into a giant Cybertruck and without thinking, like as if it was a stub your toe moment, just out of nowhere, just went, ew. And then
It feels
there
so
was
right for
somebody
all of us in New
inside,
Jersey.
though. There
It
was
was
somebody.
so right.
The windows are too tinted. I didn't know. There was somebody inside. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. So, Insha, how many books have you written? I was surprised. I knew you were an author. I knew you were writing things. I didn't understand this quantity. Not that it's about that necessarily, but it is
Yeah.
impressive all the same.
Oh God. Let's see. Oh my God, one. Oh my God, two. The Who HQ books of Tituba in Rosa Parks. The three guides. And then I have my Girl Who Loved Monsters is coming out in July.
I
Um,
saw.
uh, so right now, not including the secret projects, nine.
9. Wow.
I I
That's
there's
insane.
there's a really I forgot what like the actual Kendrick Lamar lyric is, but like it was kind of just like keep your head down and work like I do. I just like
Mhm.
understand everybody's not gonna like you. And it's just like I just kind of keep my head down and I just work. And
Wow.
I like doing that because I love being busy and I love characters and I love storytelling and I think that's kind of like a easy thing in order to go into tabletop as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, for right now, it's 9, and then like we have the second Girl Who Loves Monsters that's coming out next year, and then I do not know when the secret projects are coming out. So that'll also be news to me.
Whoa. Secret projects. So cool. Okay. Oh man. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Um, let me ask you this. Obviously, some of them I mentioned one in the intro, the guides, the like practical guides to the supernatural. There's like 3 of them, I believe.
Yeah.
I love the like imagery that you chose with the wording, like chilling with ghosts, hanging with vampires. Like I caught on to that. I was just like, oh, cute. It's one of those
That
things where you're like, oh, cute.
that was
I like that.
that was all my editor. Shout out to Jessica. That was all my editor. When she hired me for the project, I was like too stoked because I'm a spooky girl at heart. I love being I love horror. I love spooky stuff. I am just and I love a good nonfiction. And when she was just like, "Do you want to write these?" and I was just like, absolutely, I do. 100%. Yes, I need kids to know. Like,
So they're written as okay.
mhm,
You say nonfiction.
yes.
Now I'm gonna hit you with a little fact about myself, a little lore drop about myself that might be shocking. So get ready for this. I don't really believe in ghosts.
That's okay.
So so are the books written like from the perspective of like this is legit and like here's how to deal with some stuff, or is it like more like the dragonology book, for example, which we remember because we're cool.
I do. Honestly, I was looking at it today at
Yeah.
work.
Oh
Like, um, happy Pride. Um,
yeah.
I so for me, we kind of try to like come from a place of if you believe in ghosts, if you believe in vampires, if you believe in aliens, like if you believe in all of these things, that's amazing. If you don't believe in any of these things, that's actually okay too.
Mhm.
But we kind of came from a perspective in writing all 3 of these books as like whether or not you believe in any of them, what is kind of true are like some history and some lore that's from like behind it. So
No doubt.
yeah, and like that was the one thing too with like chilling with ghosts that like I really needed to like with vampires, it was very much like the vampire panic and like all of these like we don't know what's medically going on with this dead body in this coffin. Why is it not being a skeleton immediately? That
Mhm.
makes complete sense. Like we talked about decomposition, we talk about like all of that good science stuff, but then we also talk about um literature that has vampires in it and where that came from. A lot of just like the history of it as
That's
well.
so cool.
Yeah,
So you're doing
and
like research.
yeah, like
Hell yeah.
plenty of research, and I did that for like so many years that I'm just like it's just ingrained
Whoa.
now. But with
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Ghost, it was really important for me to like hone down like, hey, death happens. Death is
Mhm.
really important. Death, especially in the context of like kind of talking to kids about death, is like really important for me to get across as like an adult talking to a kid. Just like, hey, even if you do not believe in, even if you don't believe in ghosts, even if you do believe in ghosts, we all know death, right? And kind of coming from out of that context and going into what the different types of ghost stories are,
Mhm.
how you would be able, and then like we do fun stuff within the book too, like how to like kind of ghost bust confetti. how to ghost bust.
That's fun. Yeah.
And everything like that. Like we have recipes in the book. We have we have
Oh, that's
slime
cool.
in one of the books that was like ectoplasm, like this whole thing. And but it was very much coming from a place of just like we want to not only give the kids who do believe or who can believe, but they also the people who can't believe and also the people who may want to just like look a little bit deeper into like these
Hmm.
weird little nuggets of history and movies, music, lore, everything.
Yeah.
Because even like if you just see like werewolves come from somewhere. Werewolves
Oh
had to
yeah,
come
yeah,
from
yeah.
like a single little bit of a brain thought transferred into everywhere.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
so those are all of those books.
I love that. I love that. That's so cool. Okay, that's sick. I love that. Okay. Amazing. Well, you mentioned death. And speaking of death, if hypothetically there was a fire and you could only save three of your books, which
Oh,
three would you save?
oh no. Oh, that's hard.
I know.
I okay. This is not to be that person because I love all of my
Of
books and
course.
I'm really
It
really
goes
proud of
without
all of
saying. This
them.
is not that the other books aren't bad. This is not like genuinely, this is me just kind of making a funny question.
However, I do have some favorite ones though. So
Okay.
I would I would absolutely mm, the girl who loved monsters. That's like that's my baby. Like
Mm,
that's my baby. I can't leave that behind. Like I wrote that from like tail to tip. I love that thing so much. I would save that one for sure. Um, Chilling with Ghosts because it's my favorite of the three books. And I think Tituba because I
okay.
loved writing Tituba. Tituba was my favorite book to
Is that
write.
the Salem witch trial one?
Yep.
It is. Okay. Incredible. Wow. Another book I imagine you did a bit of research for.
Oh my God, yes. And then
Yeah.
the thing is too is that like there's like even though like you would think like within like the Salem witch trials and like all of what we have on it, like there's barely information on her. And
Mm,
so what I ended up having to do was like read like a bunch of books that were on her and then like what was lovely about like the Who HQ people is that they kind of were just like we're going to make this like we know that there's not a lot and we understand that there's not a lot, but if we can do our best to like make a narrative that works for not only honors her because that was my big concern. I was like, I want to honor this person. I understand
hmm
she had a
hmm
really hard choice at the end of the day. Um, but I want to honor her and I also want to do this story justice because the Salem witch trials was like my thing back in like grade school.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
favorite subject and I was just like, I hate men. But like
Of course. Of course. Why? I mean, anyone who's been to Salem and has done a single tour or like a, you know what I mean? Like even though
yeah.
I've been there a couple times, usually around Halloween because, fuck me. But because I'm an asshole tourist sometimes. Hey, if everyone's coming to the fucking Jersey Shore, I'm allowed to go some other places
I was
sometimes.
about
God
to
damn it.
say, I was like, we
But
get
like,
tourists all the time.
right? So like, I've been to Salem a couple times, and some of those tours, buddy boy, it is crazy because like even when they do the little reenactment of the trials, and the trial is truly like, I don't know, she walked behind a building, and then a cat came flying out of that same alley. Pretty sure it was her.
Like, my girl breathed that day. Okay.
But then my neck itched a little bit. Explain that, doctor. And it's like, Jesus, what? And I always remember only because of the way that the specific which bunny ears for audio listeners uh was executed, the old man who was put between two stones.
Yes. Oh my God.
Brutal.
So
Brutal.
in bonkers. Bonkers. But like the Salem
I
witch
mean,
trials is
there's like the misogyny aspect of the Salem witch trials, and then there's also the like religious persecution weird side of things, and then there's like the racism side of like you know, the different cultures from other places from for slaves coming in, and then having like just a different interpretation of why the sun moves and being like, well, that's witchcraft shit. And it
Yeah.
just being like, oh no. What a perfect storm of prejudice all in one
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, like
Like the worst of it. So I love those choices. Those books sound amazing. I can't wait to check them out more. Uh, so we're already talking about the Salem witch trials, obviously, and you also wrote a book about Rosa Parks as well. Um, have you always had an interest in history? And I guess we'll tackle that question first, because there's a part two, but I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I I here's the thing. I think I always have. I just didn't know how to hone it.
Mm,
Because I was always like that kid who was interested in a lot of different things. I am now. Like
mm,
it's like everybody's like really like how you were like really how you were surprised that I was interested in like reality television
mm.
shows.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm so interested in the like psychology and sociology of reality television. I'm really interested in like
For
the
sure.
history of like very like weird niche topics. I love all of that stuff, but I didn't think that I could do anything with it until I started really writing and understanding people and understanding the events that happened and kind of like honing those into like a whole amalgamation of my brain.
Hmm.
Um, but I always just had a interest in history. Did poorly in history in high school, but I went to this is not to say that Catholic high school is bad, but I went to a bad Catholic high school that really did not help me at all. It got shut down, so rotten pissed. But but I think so. Yeah. The answer is yes.
Incredible. Incredible. Because, okay, I also have like feels like I followed a similar route to you, where it was like high school and stuff, it was like hit or miss. Maybe you hit a topic that you're like, oh, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But or like something like that. And then whether it's, college, post grad, adult life, you're just like reading something or hear about something, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, because I'm interested in like maybe some finer points of this topic, now I'm into it, or something to
Yes.
that effect. Or like, I don't know. I remember doing broad US history and being like, I couldn't give a shit about the broader points of like JFK versus this, like I just never cared. I remember being so much more interested in like world history than US
Mhm.
history. Uh, but I think in college, when I was allowed to take more specific things, I took the history of New Orleans from founding all the way to Katrina,
Mhm.
one semester of just New Orleans, the entire like reading 10 books that semester on like different things. Like you read a book about this weird hotel that was owned by a serial killer. Wild. Or like reading Satchmo's uh autobiography. It was written by somebody else, but like his autobiography, and
Mhm.
then all these other historical facts, to the point where I wrote a final paper for that class, and it started like this: Kanye West was right. George Bush does hate black people. And that's how my paper started. And it was crazy. We've learned a lot more since then, but the point is this. I think once I started connecting, like, you hear about it all the time. History repeats itself, and like learning about the past is important because it sets you up for like understanding why the present is happening and maybe what will happen in the future or how to avoid things. Like I understand that now, and you hear that your entire life about like why learning history is important. But when you're a teenager, you got a million fucking things going on. You're not really, it doesn't click. Then eventually it clicks, and you're like, what, like, no matter what it is, there's so many ways to like look back and be like, this is why this is the way that it is. Like
Mhm.
Iran doesn't like the US because like they elected their own person however many years ago and we like killed that person. Or like you know, the fact that October 7th wasn't like the start of everything. I'm getting a little political, but
No,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
just like,
yeah.
if like I can understand, like, if you genuinely know nothing, somehow know
Yeah.
nothing of the history of what went on with Israel and Palestine, I can understand how you might sillily, but somehow think, yeah, October 7th was this kickoff of everything. But once you learn about the preceding events for the past 60 years or however long, then eventually you kind of have to be like, oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of cause and effect in this. And
Yes.
that's kind of what history is. It's just a series of domino effects,
Of cause and effect.
while
Yeah.
also like being paying super close attention to like who's laying the dominoes a little bit, because we
Mm-hmm.
all know like written history is like a little bit different than like actual history. You know,
Yep.
the victor writing some of the shit.
Yes. And like even with um there was like one niche topic that I ended up getting very much into, which is like there's this whole like organization called like Black Cemeteries, like or I think it's like the Black Cemetery Network or something like that. And it is just basically them trying to find like who is in these unmarked graves from
Mm,
like slavery and from like any other time because like a lot of them were just unmarked and I was just like
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even know that was happening. I went down a whole rabbit hole and then like I ended up like in a future character that I have I wanted to incorporate that history with like one of my good friends and he was just like fuck yes, we have to do that. Are you kidding me? And then like we had this whole conversation, this whole like safety thing because like I really, really wanted to honor that because I did not know that. And that's like a part of like my history, like as a black
Mm-hmm.
person. So it's just kind of like, but there's a lot of cause and effect for that because like that's still happening to like this day. Like there's still being people being like buried without like names attached to them and then there's still like things happening like what you said
Mm-hmm.
100% like it's it's like that's one saying too and it's like an old saying but it's just like the history like repeats itself and if we don't learn from it we're doomed to repeat it like we
Mm-hmm.
always are and like we're in that again because people
Yeah.
didn't understand the fucking
Nazis are
first
back.
time like come on man.
Fucking, I heard a comedian one time. It was like one of those pretty dark humor jokes. A comedian one time being like, "So the Nazis are back. So I guess my great grandfather wasn't that special." I was like, "Damn, that sucks. That's dark." Oh no.
So dark.
But anyway, on to brighter and happier topics for sure. Uh, I simply must know more about Slobber Knocker Supernova. I simply must. The name alone is bonkers in the best of ways. It's got like the perfect like layering of syllables. The double like B's right next to the cuss sound, like just it hits, dude. It's so good. And it
Uh,
makes me laugh. It's just like it's kind of a funny name.
it's so wild. When we came up with it, we were just like, yeah, that hits something stupid different. Like it hit something stupid and it hit something different. It's both of the
It's
same
perfect.
things.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Slobber Knocker Supernova came from me and one of my best friends, Kayla Klein. Hi Kayla. She is a illustrator and an artist and actually I'm gonna plug something real quick because she's gonna be mad at me
Please.
because I am. She made this incredible game called DKO from Scrunko Games and it is an AEW dice game. It's fantastic.
Whoa.
I've got to play test it a bunch of times. Buy it when it comes into stores, please. Um,
Heck
but
yeah.
Kayla and I really wanted to we work very well together and we just laugh and we just do a bunch of silly stuff. So, I was making a game and I wanted to just make it like a really silly Western, because I like Cowboy Bebop. So I was just like, I just want to make a like
Mm,
silly little Western. And we decided that we wanted to work on it together. And then after we like, we're not quite done with it yet because our schedules have not aligned to the best
Mm,
of our
I
abilities.
know that. Yeah.
But I'm still working on it. I am still doing all the things to it. It is like my first thing as like a narrative designer, which is kind of wild. And I am super excited about it. And
Awesome.
we're so w- I think we're just so like kind of just like we just want to work together on really cool shit. That's our
Mm-hmm.
main goal. And it's just like we're both so driven and creative and 100% just like on each other's team and on each other's side that is just kind of like why not us, why don't we just make something just fucking sick. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be
And it sounds
when
like
it
your guys' like skills complement each other really well.
yeah, yeah, and especially since like she's a really big like I lean on her for a lot of like mechanics and stuff because like I'll work on like creating like the backgrounds of the things. Like I'll work on like I since I'm writing it, I work on the mechanics, I work on like the um interiors and stuff like that, just like writing wise. But then I lean on her to kind of just be like, hey baby, can you bring this to life?
Mm-hmm.
And then like once she does and we like actually are able to just do the damn thing, it she has there's I cannot wait for people to see the fucking art of this because she has like this double spread of like just two opposing teams, how we have them. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like,
Well, it's on your
hey,
website.
oh yeah, that's right.
There is some artwork on your website.
I'm so obsessed with it.
InshaFitzpatrick.com. It'll be in the description, but
Like,
everyone could go check it out. But yeah, it looks insane. It definitely certainly caught my eye, the name alone. But why I understand, so you're going for a little bit of a Western vibe. My understanding, based on you referencing Cowboy Bebop specifically, is like
mm,
Western in a slightly like it's not like a tumbleweed and like
no.
literal cowboys and shit, right? I understand that it's a little cyberpunk in terms
Yes.
of like aesthetics and stuff. Why
Yes.
did you go in that direction? Is it like just a because I suppose Cowboy Bebop has like cyberpunk elements to it, certainly,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think we wanted to do that only because of the fact that like there is another inspiration for this too is like Blade Runner, and obviously
Hmm.
like Blade Runner, like Cowboy Bebop kind of like go like they touch fingies,
Oh yeah, they're knocking.
right? Like they're
I
knocking
get it.
boots so hard, but like it's it's one of those like things where I think when I started writing it, it was gonna be like a pure Western, like a pure
Mm.
just like kind of thing. And then I read Orbital Blues. And Orbital Blues is so fantastic in the way that it just kind of like lays out this like Western, but there's it's almost like normal, almost too normal. And I love that, but it's like but there's some cyberpunk in there as well. And I was just like, what if we did Orbital Blues? Like hear me out. Like I remember telling Kayla, I'm like, hear me out. What if we do Orbital Blues? Just like how like that's like kind of like Loki. I want it to be up here. I want it
Yeah,
to be like to the
bigger and
ceiling.
bigger and
I
bigger.
need
Yeah.
I want high octane. I want everybody to potentially be dead by the end of this thing. Like
Oh hell yeah.
it's kind of just like no one's safe and there's like a bounty on everybody's head. And then like the way that I like wrote the mechanics for the bounty, I was just like, you are in for like millions of dollars, my guy. You're never gonna get out of this. And like
Mm-hmm.
but like even with the interconnecting of the characters and how we wanted to like make the gangs and stuff like that, it's gonna be one of those things that I think I know we're excited about, but I'm very excited to see that like somebody else is really excited about it. So thank you so
It
much for
looks
like
sick.
wanting to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. I had to bring it up the second I saw it. So I was pretty proud of this next question. If instead of a few miles from Fairfield, California, the Bates Motel was found in New Jersey instead, how would it have happened differently? What would be different?
Oh my. Um.
It's in like Wildwood. It's a beach bungalow.
It's a shore house. I I would almost say it brings me okay. This is gonna sound bonkers. I think it's just the the New Jerseyan in me that has to like mention The Sopranos. But like I I almost think that like instead there's a scene in Psycho who for whoever's seen it, spoilers ahead, the woman dies in like 5.2 seconds of the film. I'm so sorry about that. But um by the time like she ends up in the trunk and like he's trying to like sink the car into the quicksand or whatever that is, like the swamp
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
I would think that scene would be in the Pine Barrens.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah,
like,
it would be.
like immediately in the Pine Barrens, or he would probably drive through like the gates of hell.
Seriously. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. God, anybody who's lived in New Jersey long enough has read Weird New Jersey at some point to like check some shit out. So you're telling me if I pee on this tree, I'm dead? No, thanks.
My God,
Not
this
gonna
devil
not gonna
tree
risk it.
is
Don't believe in ghosts, but I'm not peeing on that tree. Because
especially
that's
since that like tree like leans like
yeah,
no.
it's insane. It's insane. Now I'm about to drop another piece of Justin lore on you. I while I am hyper skeptical when it comes to the supernatural in real life,
Mhm.
I'm also a massive hypocrite when it comes to like haunted houses and stuff. I won't go because I have space for the world in which I am wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to visit that world. Why test it?
I
I'm
think that kind of
super
makes
fun being a
sense.
skeptical because every time there's like a noise in the night, it's just the cat. It can never be anything. What's this? The cat's right next to me. It's a different cat
I don't
because it
have a
can't be
cat.
a ghost.
It's
So
not
it's
my
like,
problem.
yeah, uh, huge hypocrite when it comes to stuff like that. And my birthday's on Halloween. Wild.
I think that's fair though. I think like even if you were like the toughest of skeptics, there is some part of your brain that like kind of goes, but what if?
Hmm.
Like
Not to
but
mention, like, for me, like, I don't enjoy being scared.
yep.
It's not something like anytime I have been scared, or like a jump up in a movie or something, like I'll get over it, of course. But like as a child, I like you go to a friend's house who likes horror movies, and we're watching Poltergeist, we're watching anything. Literally, Tremors as a kid would give me nightmares. So it would just be
Ooh.
like multiple nights of nightmares where it's like, well, this isn't fun. This sucks. So then like having nightmares and stuff was just like, well, I'll just avoid, right? Like just avoid the scary movies. And so then I just like created this like safety mode of just always saying no to scary movies. Oh, just you want to go to a haunted house? Nope. But your birthdays are nope. Not even a little bit, dude. Not even a little bit. Uh, but I agree with you that the Pine Barrens would play a huge role in this. I think all of us from New Jersey at one point or another have passed by a hotel near the shoreline where whether it's northern, like closer to north, or like Jersey Shore, or further down south by Wildwood, whatever, where you see like a hotel where you're like, murders happen there. Right, like there's a couple in Seaside. There's like a couple in Seaside. My sister and I always are like, oh, by the murder hotel, because
There were
they're
a
like
couple of
terrifying.
schools. There were a couple of schools down there that were like abandoned that I remember being like, I don't think we need to get anywhere near that. Like I don't like I,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
not my problem. Like that school is there. Good for it. Bye. Like it's
Leave it
just and
alone. Yeah,
there's
let
like
it
a
be.
there's also like a hospital that's like not it's near me, but like it's on like this it has this long pathway up and it's like on a
Mhm.
hill. It's I've I went to school by there for a good amount of 4 years.
Yeah.
Rotten Piss High School. And I and
You didn't love
I
high school? Me neither, dude. I'm joking. Me neither. I had like
like
there was like a 6 month spread where I like boosted in popularity and then like a scandal, just like a fucking, I was like a politician where I was just like, whoa, everybody loves Justin. I'm fucking crushing it. What's going on? And then just like, boom, no
not the
friends. Oh
scandal.
no. The worst.
But like every single time like I would pass by there, especially like when I started driving, like it would be like it was shut down for the longest time. And then all of a sudden it was
Mhm.
like one light, two lights, three lights. And I was just
That's
like,
some shining shit.
I don't think that that should be on. Maybe we should, wasn't this shut down like years ago? And then they finally like went back and they I think it's up and running, but I'm just like, why the fuck would I go to a hospital on the hill?
So I'm so interested by the Hospital on a Hill is a great name for like a one shot or like a actual play series.
I will
Uh,
give that to you. Please
so
do it.
thank you so much. Um, wow, that's crazy. There was a quick second when you were describing that, other than like on the hill part. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, it's not the same place. But because there's a place by me where like before weed got legalized, that was the spot. But it was called Crystal Lake. There's rumors that Al Capone's like buried his money underneath tunnels underneath this. It's like a psychiatric hospital. Same vibe of like everyone's like, oh, isn't that shut down? Nope, still fully running. It's like sometimes you'll find patients just like in a like a dressing gown, like a hospital gown kind of thing, just like walking on the street, and you're like, oh, one of them got out. Oh no. And like it for some, yeah, cops never go there. So it was just like it was a perfect spot. But but I love this idea. I think a New Jersey vibed psycho is in order. I think it could happen. Listen, my mother, she's very overbearing. Just like it's so funny. Just like it's an Italian mom. Like it has to be just like an East Coast Italian mom
I
who's
need
just
Steve
like,
Buscemi in a role. I don't care which one it is. I need him in a
it
role.
would be the best. So speaking of movies, I'm a big fan of movies. One of my favorite movies, I'll let you know, is um Looney Tunes Back in Action. I'm a big
Ooh, let me
fan. It's
see.
just really, it's like there aren't a ton of movies that I can like watch over and over. Like that one, Mitchells and Machines is like a sleeper where it's like, I wouldn't say it's like my top 10 favorite movies, but like that movie hits so
It's
hard.
so good.
It's like weirdly good, right? Like when you're just like scrolling on Netflix and you're like, what's this? Nah, whatever. You put it on and then you're like crying at the end when they're singing the song and you're like, no way. This is Danny McBride. How could you? Beautiful. I love movies so much. Even though right now I'm on a K-drama kick. I'm watching the Extraordinary Attorney Woo. So like, but uh, do you have in mind a movie that is so bad it cycles back around to being good again? And I don't. And then follow-up question: how would that fall in like a letterbox score? Would you put it higher because it's like, oh, this is so bad that it's good, and maybe it obviously that can look like different things. It can look like maybe being a little campy. It could be like one of those things where it's nostalgic. You're like, I recognize this movie sucks, but like I grew up with it, so I love it. Like, does any films come to mind?
Ooh. Um, God. Okay, for full context, my my love of film is kind of just like it's all over the place. It's very much
Yeah.
all over the place, but I love films from the um 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Like that's my wheelhouse. And I also love the 30s. But
Whoa. You and my dad
I
would get along well.
like I but like it's that like I don't know why it's like those particular like um years that like make me so happy and feels like this nostalgia that like I didn't really understand and I don't know that I had because I wasn't born then. I'm born now. So, but at the same exact time,
Yeah, I
it's
get it.
kind of, but it's like, I don't know, it's just like the flicking of the film that like you can still hear even though they digitized it and stuff like that, that like hits so
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the one movie for another bit of context to my favorite type of movies are exploitation movies. Because
Oh.
exploitation movies are just one of those specific types of niche things that can
Mm-hmm.
travel all over the place. And inside of exploitation movies, another one is gore exploitation and or shock exploitation. And then inside of that, this is like one of those like dolls things, like Russian dolls. Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
it's a nugget and a nugget. But inside of that, another my favorite terrible director, but he's so wonderful at what he did is Herschel Gordon Lewis. He had a bunch of films that were he did the shock and awe of it all, and it was just a lot of blood, a lot of buckets of blood, a lot of meaty parts, a lot of like people like women getting like decapitated. It's just a whole mess. But
Okay.
my favorite movie by him that is so it's it's bad. It's a bad movie. However, if I had the choice to watch that every single day of my life, I just would. And it's Wizard of Gore. It's
I've
bad.
heard of this.
It's like between Wizard of Gore and Blood Feast. So bad
Whoa.
that it's good.
Whoa.
So bad
Just
that
the
it's
titles
awful.
alone.
It's just
So
there's
funny.
another one called Color Me Red. There's another one called oh the Gore Girls was one of my
Goodness gracious.
thesis like
I'm
in
looking at
college.
some screenshots. My goodness.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And this is why I never really tell people like my interest because I was just like, yeah,
No,
I
hey,
don't
you
want
got
you
to
to
do
see
you.
me different.
Absolutely not. This is sick. It's not for me. I one time in high school was I was trying to flirt with this girl and she was like, "Do you want to come back to my apartment? My parents aren't home." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, of course." Go to her place. She's like, "I'll put on a movie." I said, "Okay." We're sitting on the couch together. I'm thinking it's gonna lead to like kissing or something, right? And she puts on, and I'm not joking, Hostel. And I said, "What?" I said, "Excuse me?"
See,
Blowtorching eyeballs while we're kissing? No, thank you. It was
I'd
crazy.
rather
And it was crazy.
I'd rather put on like Wizards of Gore than like Hostel though. Like I have a whole thesis about
Well, it's
like
more realistic. I am
yeah.
looking at this and just the color palette is like, oh, this is an older film. Like it just has this vibe to it that I love. I do love certain cinematography and things like that. Like I do it a lot in our own editing. Like if I make a little ad for So You Want to Be a DM, I like am such a fan of adding noise and like little effects to make things look a little aged. Um, I do. Okay, this is incredible. The Wizard of Gore. I love the movie poster where it's just a wizard's hat sticking out of it.
It's
That's
so bad,
awesome.
but it's so
It did need
good.
the man's face on it. It's got scary eyes on it. It didn't need that. But okay, that's awesome. Um, and then so for me, one of my favorites in this category of so bad that it becomes good again is and also it hits the nostalgia really hard for me, is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The second Mortal Kombat movie specifically. The first one is awesome too for the same reasons. Like it is garbage, but I love it. The acting is so campy, so terribly written. Like there's things with characters that they're just making up in the fly, like that are fun and not like the video game lore. Sick. Love that. Love these bold choices. The sound effect that they use for lightning, it's terrible. And I love it. God, oh, it's so freaking good. Um, and then speaking of bad movies that are just bad, and I've done this on a previous podcast as well when we had somebody on where they were like, it was in their profile somewhere. I found it where it was like, big fan of Avatar. And so I was like, which Avatar are we talking? Because we might have beef or we might be best friends. Because if you pick blue people over benders, we got problems. Okay? It's as simple as that. There's only one Avatar, and the rest of them are firebenders, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God.
You gave Avatar a 2-star rating. And what's Letterbox out of? It's out of 5, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So you gave 2 out of 5 stars to Avatar, James Cameron's little baby. He's
Mhm.
his little obsession currently.
Mhm.
I didn't look on your list like all the way through. Have you seen the other Avatars? I'm curious. And then why did you give this one a 2-star rating?
So I can answer this in a double whammy.
Yes.
Um, I tell my friends all the time, like anybody who will listen to this knows me very well. I have enemies of Hollywood. There's some people that I personally can't stand. Not
Mm-hmm.
only because of the fact that like I don't really like their movies, but at the same exact time it's just like, whatever, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
res- but at the same time I respect anybody who likes movies that I do not like and people that I do not like. However, when it comes to James Cameron, I am very much different. I hate James Cameron all with my full chest. I do not like him, and there's something about him, and mostly because of the relationship with Catherine Bigelow, that pisses me off. And the fact that like he's like I know a lot of like the joke for like Avatar is just like it's just Dancing with Wolves. It's just Dancing with Wolves, and I'm just like, yeah, and Dancing with Wolves was a fucking problem too. So like, I don't. Like, what are we? Where's the bar? Where's the level?
Yeah, right.
What are we doing? Um, but my enemies of Hollywood, it starts with James Cameron.
Okay.
I also started to have beef with him because my least favorite, and I will say this with my full chest, my least favorite Alien movie is Alien 2.
Okay.
Mostly because of the fact that I'm just like, why did you give Ripley a child and a man to take care of? She already
Mm,
had problems. Like it's just like and a lot of
yeah.
his characters are very much just kind of like, I need to settle you down, woman. I need
Mm,
to make sure that you are doing your womanly duty and stuff like that. And I do
mm-hmm.
understand like that people do not see it like that, but like me kind of coming from like a film background and wanting to understand characters and wanting to understand like how storytelling is. I'm just like James Cameron and me in a ring tomorrow. I bust him upside his head. Like there would be no way that he's getting out of here alive. Like I don't care for him. But I also feel that way about and we do not have to get into this. I also feel that way about Jamie Lee Curtis and Eli Roth.
Oh yeah. I don't really like Jamie Lee Curtis ton.
Just dog shit of a person. But,
Yeah. Yogurt's all right. Yogurt's all right, but like not a great person. I agree.
yeah.
No, I totally agree. Hollywood is so interesting these days, especially. And when I say these days, I do refer to like the last 10 years when like at least our generation began recognizing how politics plays itself into everything.
hmm
The argument of like, oh, keep politics out of it, and like, oh, can't you just like, even though you don't agree with their politics, can't you still like watch their thing? And it's like, my dad won't watch The Office because one time they helped out, they paid the bonds of people who were in protest. Like, what do you mean? Uh, so like, excuse me if I'm not like running to see the next Rob Schneider thing or like whatever.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
sure Deuce Bigelow 5 will be so good, but I'm not that interested. Like, I yeah, I feel very strongly about stuff like that. To the same effect of like recognizing certain talent things and like being like, I, I do like Inglorious Bastards.
Yes.
I think Hans Landa and like the like Christoph Waltz's acting and like other scenes in that movie as well, and like different scenes and like the way the camera with the number 3 in the German, like the fact that
hmm
no one had to say anything, it was just all conveyed visually,
hmm
um in the way that a novel would have to like write your thoughts down. Like when directors do that, I really do appreciate and love that. But fuck Tarantino. So like,
Yeah, yeah. Like
you know what I mean? Like,
it's very
yeah.
much a double-edged sword of it because it's kind of just like one of my favorite Tarantino movies is Jackie Brown. Like
Mm-hmm.
mostly because like I think Pam Grier and Robert doesn't do an amazing job, and it's that chemistry is what really makes that. Samuel L. Jackson even like knocks it out of the park in that movie. Not Samuel L. Jackson honestly knocks it out of the park in every Tarantino movie. However, it's just like with Tarantino, especially there's like some stuff about him that kind of is just like great director. Don't get me wrong. Put me in
Yeah.
a ring with him, let me go 10 rounds. Like there's just a
Seriously. Yeah. Just like,
difference.
I can't handle. I remember I tried to watch The Hateful Eight or whatever it was, and I was watching it in my house. Like my roommate and her kid are walking around my house, and I remember just being like, the amount of N words is like,
Yeah.
this is unreal. Like it
It
is so unnecessary. I don't give a.
that's
It reminds me of George R. R. Martin in Game of Thrones being like, no, no, no. There actually has to be SA and incest everywhere because otherwise it's not realistic to the time period. First of all, dragons exist, so fuck yourself. Secondly, like in the Hateful Eight experience, like technically a historical thing, so like whatever, but like the over reliance of it, like you could in theory do it once in your movie and we get it. But the
yeah.
fact that it needs to be every other word is like, bro, you love it.
Also like
You
the
being Quentin Tarantino, like, ugh.
yeah. No, and I think like that's the thing too with Tarantino that like I kind of find really like upsetting to watch with his movies is the comfortability and then the way that like he kind of like excuses it where he's just like, well, like
Mm-hmm.
I was inspired by like all of these like 1970s like black exploitation films, and it's just like you can be inspired. Nobody's telling you that you can't. It's just that like when you are writing, when you are actually like making a story for like a black cast and then like having these like brilliant like white performers and anybody else that he has in his cast, do you not at the end of the day just go like, oh wait, that's kind of uncomfortable for everybody involved. I'm having Walton Goggins say the N-word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's
like
it's
Walton
insane.
Goggins didn't even say the N-word in Justified. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah. That's so true. Wow. That's rough. What else is rough is this. I you gave Akira 2 stars, and I need to know why. I'm deeply fascinated. I'll tell you this part. I did like look away from the screen during some of the body horror stuff because like if it wasn't animation, it would have been like a different story. But like even in animation, some of those body horror scenes, I was like, ew, gross. And I just like turned away. But I did love that movie, and like there's some aesthetics about it. I like not being an expert in like anime film by any stretch of the imagination. Uh, but like, I don't know. I don't really like it. But I'm down to hear it. I'm not like a film person by any means either. I took a one. You'll love this actually. I took one film class in college, and it was all Alfred Hitchcock. It was awesome. It was
yay.
awesome. I love
Oh,
like Psycho's up there on my list. Rear Window is like a huge one for me, and then I really loved Rope. Um,
Rope is such a
was
queer
like a really big
masterpiece.
one for me. Um, there's also the one where they're in a boat. I can't remember the name of that one.
I think it's just literally Lifeboat, if I'm
I
not
think you're right.
mistaken.
But yeah, I had
um
such so much fun in that class.
like that was another person. That's another person too. Like dog shit person,
Oh yeah.
brilliant filmmaker.
Oh yeah.
Like the way that he treated like Tippy Hendren lives rent free in my mind because like it's so fucking atrocious. Like
Hmm.
between the birds and Marnie, I can write an entire dissertation about like how Alfred Hitchcock is a terrible person, but his movies have a lasting impact. And like especially on or especially like with like giallo films kind of like coming into like the 1970s. Anyway, not the point. But with Akira, um, um but with Akira, here this is where I kind of break down a little bit of the wall. Me, myself, Insha. I love body horror. I love body horror so much. It's one of my favorite genres, and it's one of my favorite topics to talk about, especially like in the Cronenberg sense of body horror, because like
Mm-hmm.
that has like this like weird metatextual, metaphorical message and like philosophy to it that I'm just like, that makes no sense, baby, but keep going. Like, yeah, you're attracted to car crashes, yes. Like, but like,
I did see that you just like did a thing for Crash recently.
yeah, because like I watched it like forever ago, but then I was just like, I think that I need to just rewatch it again. Rewatched it like 2 nights ago, and I was just like, that's still my movie. That's still my
Mm-hmm.
psychosexual thriller. Um, but with Akira, even though I love body horror, um, and even though I love, see, here's the thing, I love the storytelling in Akira. I've read the manga and stuff, the manga and stuff like that. Like
Mm.
I do really like it. Um, it's just that I think every single time I watch it, it increasingly for some reason, it's that one scene, and I think you probably know the scene where like it's the crushing of a
Mm.
person, like with all of the things, and it's for some reason that itself bothers me. And I never understood why. And I never understood. And I think it's because of the fact that it's just like between somebody being like crushed inside of an entire thing, and then the person who is doing it cannot help themselves, and it's like just a dual, like I remember watching that as a kid because like my shout out to my cousin, he sat me down in his room at one point and he was just like, I think you would like this. And again, like I
Same thing that happened
was
with Perfect Blue.
yeah, like it's my
Your
cousin,
friends and
a
family are
menace.
duping you.
Like my cousin, a
Listen,
menace.
you're gonna love this. What
And
is
like
this? It's so funny.
and like when he like had me watch it, like that scene by itself made me cry. And I had never cried during like an anime movie or anything like that. I do I think I rated it a 2 because of my personal history with it of just I don't know what it is about that particular scene because the characters are stunning. The art is stunning. The way that the camera moves and like all the animation is stunning. Like
Mm-hmm.
my low key special interest is like animation, especially stop motion animation. But like
Uh,
I I do really like that
love.
movie.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah.
that there's something about that movie that makes me increasingly uncomfortable every time I watch it. So it's like not like a 2 star to just be like, oh my God, like I hate this movie. It's like a 2 star to be like, I am increasingly uncomfortable with this movie every time I engage with it. But Perfect Blue, opposite. I will engage with that movie as much as possible and then be like, this makes me increasingly uncomfortable in a good way. Because
Mm.
I understand what's happening with this movie and I understand the contextualized context of that movie, especially because of the fact that like I am like a femme presenting person who like all of that a nightmare like
Yeah.
an
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
actual nightmare. But for Akira, it's just kind of like it's just kind of like there's something about that movie that I'm just kind of like I cannot engage with this as much as like a normal person would like to because it just increasingly just makes me feel discomforted. And it's the only movie, fun fact, only movie that's ever made me feel that way.
Oh,
I've watched Martyrs. I've watched like
damn.
really extreme new French extremity movies that like have all this stuff, but like that movie just like there's something about it. I still need to like I need to analyze honestly what it is about it that makes me feel uncomfortable, but like it's just that one seed of just like kind of having your body be out of control. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Do you find that you have to be like in a mood to watch certain types of movies or genres, or are you more like free flowing where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna throw a movie on. It could be kind of anything. For me, like there are like certain dramatic movies, for example, where like I need to be in the right headspace. Like I can't just sit down and watch like this hardcore tearjerker or like a slower movie or something like that. Maybe the part of it is like just my own ADHD of being like, I'm not going to be able to focus.
No, no,
I have to
no.
like shut my phone off or something. But
No. I think I'm a little bit the same way, but at the same time, I'm not one of those people who needs to, because it's just kind of like it's like, do I feel like watching a Giallo movie right now? Ooh, I really wanted to see that one. Click. Like that's
Mm,
basically my main frame. However, I cannot watch the funny part is that like I can watch any type of movie in any type of like, because horror is my comfort, and horror, it makes me happy, and it kind of just like does something to me that I'm just kind of just like, I want to analyze it, I want to know it, I want to know what's going on with it, I just want to
yeah.
know. But to go to sleep, I watch The Real Housewives.
Okay.
Because I love
Amazing.
listening to women yelling in the background as I just lull myself to sleep.
That's so funny. That's hilarious. I get it though, because like obviously there's a huge phenomenon when it comes to like true crime and its
Mhm.
popularity, and especially towards like, women or femme presenting people of being like murderinos and just being like, oh my God, who's your favorite serial killer? Just like the kind of psychoticness of all of that.
Yeah.
But I get that because like I remember growing up and my family being like a Law and Order, like we watched Law and Order, especially SVU and stuff. And like, so I remember meeting the character, Dr. Wong, an actor who's not a good person, but the actor, Dr. Wong, and, or the character, Dr. Wong, or whatever. And like how he, was a criminal psychologist and all this stuff. And I remember just being like, wow, I want to do that. That sounds awesome. And researching serial killers and just being like, actually, I think this one's pretty interesting. This guy drank people's blood because he thought his was evaporating because he was also schizophrenic. And, just like learning about these different things and like, uh, at the same token being like, before I talk about this, let me understand that like this is crazy to a certain degree. So like I understand where you're coming from of the idea of like not everyone's gonna be into this. And
Yeah.
like uh there is an interesting thing of being like what you are comforted by, like what you have grown
Mhm.
accustomed to, whether it's repetition or something.
Mhm.
Uh but I love that. It makes me think of in college I took neuroscience class. I was a neuroscience major. And so I took classes about, neuroscience and shit. And so I've always remembered like just this most stupid facts that you would learn because of course it's pre-med, but I'm 35 and this happened forever ago. So like, I graduated in 2013, so it's like forever ago. But I remember learning about certain types. There's different types of nerves, right? You have like
Mhm.
pain receptors, heat receptors, like different things. And there's a type of nerve that's in like your skin where like when you first put a t-shirt on, you feel the t-shirt, and then eventually you stop feeling the t-shirt. It reaches a capacity, and then it's like, okay, we get it, the shirt's here, we don't have to keep sending signals to the brain to be like, "Hey, heads up, something's touching us." Like we get it. And so I've always just thought about that as like a thing. So it makes me think of this just in the idea of like, if you've been consuming horror for so long, it sounds like you have been,
Yeah.
then I can understand how it could be comforting, even when, to me, deeply unsettling.
And
While I can watch like true crime thing.
I think the thing for I know for just me, it's just I find it comforting because of the fact that like I want to learn more about it. I'm
Hmm.
such I'm such like a analytical person that I want to deep dive so badly into like as everything that's consuming it. Like I did a whole thing one time with my friend, and shout out to my friends who like have to hear me yap about horror a lot and I appreciate you so much. Um but I did like a small dissertation about like the Friday the 13th movies and why they're so fascinating, and like how they kind of like ebb and flow out of a story, and even like how Halloween 3 is the best Halloween movie because it's nothing to do with Mike Myers. It's nothing to do with Mike
Oh, is
Myers.
that the
Nothing.
witches one or no? I
Yeah,
don't I
yes.
don't I'm not familiar as I've never seen any of them, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Like for scary movies, it's literally like um I saw the first 5 to 8 minutes of The Grudge, walked out of the theater. Don't know what the monster looks like. No idea. As soon as that lady like opened the top thing, I went, "Phoop," and then was like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom," and left.
Not for me.
Uh, I
Bye.
I have seen the first of the newer versions, chapters 1 and 2 of it.
Okay.
And that I actually truly fuck with. I love it. The reason, but also for me, very little rewatchability. Like I'm not trying to rewatch it. Every time I pass it in like a scrolling thing, I'm like, oof, nah. But I read the book. So
Yeah.
like it felt different. I was like way more prepared. And I also was at a bachelor party. I was forced to watch the first one. So it wasn't even my choice. And I did close my eyes during so much of it and had nightmares that night. So,
Oh,
but like, it just is what it is. But I did like genuinely enjoy it. Like, because I think now that I'm a little bit older, I can watch a horror movie and I'm so fascinated by cinematography and like filming and editing and all that kind of, the artsy side of things or the post production. Talking like interviews with DPs and stuff like that, and just finding out all these different informations about like certain
yeah.
things and being like, oh, that's cool. So like just the decision of having it do this weird little creepy walk thing is like that's a cool decision. They chose to make things almost instead of making things always like so scary, they went for
Mhm.
like a creepier vibe where there's scenes where you're not necessarily like but more like ugh,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, but let's move on. Unfortunately, as much as I trust me, I have like a list of IMDb movies that I want to be like, we're gonna get into this game where it's gonna be like, have you ever seen this movie? I think you would like it, and it's just gonna be us going back and forth for a little bit because I'm thinking of like 6 movies right now that I want to be like, have you seen Burning?
Yes.
So good, so good, it's so good. There's another one with Stephen Yeun, Minari.
Oh,
Have you seen that
yes.
one? Yeah.
Yes.
That
Oh,
was one of them too. That I saw both of those back to back. And I was like,
wonderful. Oh.
watch out, world. Korean film's here to stay. It's like, god damn, like I know Parasite and Bong Joon-ho's been doing some shit, but like, holy shit. I was like, damn, this
Yeah,
is wild.
those quiet ones always sneak up on you, and I think Minari is such a like quiet sleeper hit, and like it should have gotten a bigger reception than what it did. It's
1,000,000%. It was just,
gorgeous.
yeah, you have to have like the patience for it, and you have to have like an appreciation of both storytelling, characters, and all of those things. Great segue, Justin. But before we get into characters, uh, you've mentioned so many along our way, both ones that you're coming out with as well as other ones that your friends have made, like DKO. You've talked about Orbital Blues, and you can feel free to bring those into this question. Is there a whoa, let me try that again. Take two. Is there a TTRPG that you think more people should be checking out? More people should know about? It's not getting enough love.
Oh, that's a good question. Um, damn. Okay, I have a top three. Um, one is one is Little Wolves. It's this
Hmm.
gorgeous, like I I was like I don't probably know how to say it, but like there's like these it's has the capacity of just being so much bigger than what it is. It's about like you can be like any kind of creature, but like you're basically like a wolf and you have a human form and you have a wolf form, and then like you make masks that like you can like lift up and down to like say if you're a human form or a what's name form. Actually, I have like my mask. Like, hold on.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because I kept it after we did like a small place of it. I was so obsessed with it. Um, but like
Whoa.
you make these little masks and like you make like symbols of like things that like your character loves and things that your character like they whole thing in the character guide.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you come from a court and you're just a little wolf trying to like figure some stuff out. It's very, very cute. It's very good. And I would
That's
love for
fun.
more people to like get on that train.
Yeah.
Um, Another one is Mm. Another one is public access
Public
because
access.
I love me some analog horror. I love some creepy stuff that's going on. I love I don't get to do it so often, but I love exploring like childhood trauma, especially like as you as an adult kind of coming back to your town and kind of figuring out like so the whole thing with like public access is that you are an adult now who comes back to your New Mexico town in order to figure out like these Odyssey tapes, and it's this public access thing
Whoa.
that you used to watch as a kid, but like now like this tower that had public access is like no longer there, and it's kind of just like what the fuck is this? Um, and you kind of have to try to figure out what's going on in there. Brilliant, a brilliant game, and just like ended its Kickstarter. It's a card by Brindlewood game. Just chef's kiss to it.
Dang.
And another one
Yeah,
that's
damn, they raised like $600,000.
it's so good. It's such a good game.
Whoa.
And the last one is I'm playing it now with my bud Sid and like and my bud Caitlin and Kayla. But what happened to Margot Kwan is so wonderful, and it is a it's a spin-off, or it's kind of like a it's a card by Brindlewood game that is pulled by another game that the creator of the Girls of the Genzania Hotel had written. But what happened to Margot Kwan almost takes place like a Twin Peaks kind of a thing, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
find out what happened to Margot Kwan. It is so brilliant and it's so wonderful, and I'm just like, everybody get on this.
Whoa. What happened to Margot Kwan?
And
Crazy.
I think that
It's
mhm.
just the name Margot Kwan. What happened to Margot Kwan? What is the name of the oh, see, true crime is now entering my brain. There was that one woman who was in that really famous hotel in
Oh, the
LA or
Cecil
something.
Hotel?
Yeah. Who went up
Yeah.
the elevator and eventually found herself in the water thing. And what was her name? For some reason, my brain is like, I think his name was like Amy Kwan, but not that it doesn't. And Justin, it actually doesn't matter right now. Am I gonna Google it really quick?
Eliza Lamb.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Oh, so incredible answers. I loved all three of these. They're so interesting sounding. Public access and Little Wolves both sound really, really fun, actually. Public access specifically actually sounds really interesting. I also enjoy well, like the analog horror, obviously horror I have my own things with. When it comes to TTRPGs, everything's off the table. Like I'm my boundaries open up greatly. I can't visually watch a horror movie. Like anime, sometimes I can get away with a lot because it's animation, and for some reason my body can just handle it better. But
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean? Like you're watching Jujutsu Kaisen and just like something crazy happens, and you're like, yeah, if that was live action, couldn't do it. But for this, I can do it. And then like, um, uh, uh, there's also like the analog horror side of things. So like analog for me is like I love doing mixed media in different ways when it comes to DMing specifically, or like really actual plays. I think is where I'm able to showcase it more often. Because I'm like willing to put a little bit more effort into things if I'm being honest. So like I love doing like found footage or something like that. Like we did an actual play that will come out after Oops All Healers, uh called Dial T for Truth, where it's a group of
Ooh.
cryptid hunter documentary makers. And it's a team, and one of them's the sound guy, one of them's the cameraman, they have whatever. And they're going through the Amazon rainforest on kayaks. And it's kids on bikes, so they're just normal people. Uh and the first thing they start noticing is like the animals are a little mutated and alienish. They find like an orangutan that has like giant tusks coming out of its mouth. It has spider like multiple eyes, 4 arms. But other than that, just a normal orangutan. You're like, okay, what? Uh, then they find like a couple of other things. Same deal, just like extra eyes, like something, 2 heads, like little things here and there where you're like, what the fuck? And then they find the dead remains of a conquistador
Oh,
still in its armor. But here's the thing, it's like not decayed. It's like the body, like it's dead, but it's like not skeletons. And conquistadors, decently, not as long as people would think, but still long enough that it should be a skeleton. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? Right by that conquistador, they find a recording. And the recording is like, the year's 1920. This is Dr. Murdoch McClinty. We
oh,
came here on an expedition. Things aren't going well. You know what I mean? And like the next
oh, I
recording is
love
from a different decade, and you hear like gunfire in the background, and they're like, no, they're attacking us. Like you just hear like crazy things, and you have to piece things together based on these recordings that they find throughout the series.
that. I
Very
love
fun.
that. I cannot
Very,
wait to
very
watch
fun.
that. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's also like it's funny because we do like our normal like leaning into comedy, but there's this like almost like the movie Annihilation. There's like a lot of eldritch horror elements and then like these weird analog horror of like technology horror kind of things of like uh some of them are just it's less about the technology and more about just like basic danger instincts of like it doesn't matter if it's tech or not, a T-Rex with lasers, it's gonna freak you out a little bit. So it's like we're having a lot of fun with that season. Um, Getting into characters now.
Mhm.
Do you, when you're coming up, obviously, kind of specific? Well, some of your books are uh, like nonfiction. So obviously, like when it comes to like starting with a character, it's not necessarily like how do I start with Rosa Parks? It's like well, Rosa Parks is a real person, so like probably
Yeah.
start with her. So that a little different there. Even with like the Salem witch trials, I assume well, actually, here, I'm going to make an assumption and you tell me if I'm wrong or right. I
Mhm.
assume that you were starting more broadly with the Salem witch trials and in your research discovered this person and decided to delve in deeper. Or was it like you already knew about her and you were like, no, 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 she's the star?
I already knew about her and then like went out
Hell
because
yeah.
it's like I always do that thing where it's just like it starts with this one person, especially for nonfiction. For fiction, it's completely different, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
for nonfiction, it's like it starts with this one person, and then you want to branch out into the event, and then you want to know more about the event, and then go back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of kind of like going out in, out in, out in because there's a lot of layers and a lot of things that make up what ended up happening to her, what ended up happening to other people, what ended up happening in this event, what ended up happening outside of Salem, what ended up happening like
Yeah, yeah,
throughout
yeah.
the world. So that's a little bit different. But when it comes to fiction, and I think especially when if I write a character, it always comes from a place. It comes from like kind of two places. It comes from a place of like observation because I'm a person who like I love observing people. Not in a creepy way, but like I love just like that observational like knowledge of like, this is like a little mannerism that I can bring into a character. This is like a little thing that's like a little voice or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Or it comes from like a little piece of myself that I'm comfortable obviously with sharing cuz like I know
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people are just kind of like do not um like kind of take yourself into a character, which is kind of like I don't. But at the same exact time, if that character like it makes the character more real if you take that piece of yourself that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Louis, for example, what I really wanted to do with her was kind of express this like bubbly personality that like I have, but also like a little bit of like funny because I don't I don't necessarily think I'm funny, But like when some people do think I'm like funny, I'm just kind of like, great, I'm gonna lean
Yeah.
into it because it made you giggle. That's the point. That's the point, and that's the
Oh
good
yeah.
thing. But then also like being kind of like this person who like like even though like she has some very unorthodox methods about how she does a lot of things, she knows her stuff, and she also trusts a lot of people around her to know their stuff, and it's kind of just like she wants, and I think kind of bringing a little piece of me into her was just kind of like this unapologetic joy about being able to do something that you really really love. And
Hmm.
it's like, even though, again, unorthodox method, but when she kind of does
No
it and when she
doubt.
kind of like
Yeah.
hones in, she's good and she
Hmm.
cares about people. That's like the really big part of her. And that's like a part of me too. Like I care about people. And especially like when you said like I'm doing a medical horror show, I was just like, I want to do a psychologist so bad. And I want to do a person who like cares about people, especially people's feelings, about especially about people's minds and about people's like hearts and where they're coming from and stuff like that. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's kind of
While
that's a
also being like a little lax about like procedure and like policy,
yeah. Because
like
sometimes you
red
just
tape.
can't because sometimes you just can't do it the way that it's been. But
Exactly.
I also think that was like the brilliant part about like like having Louis with Erica, because like Erica's very much
Oh,
like
the character Erica. Yeah.
yeah, just as like I was a part of this hospital for a while, like I know the procedure, and Louis comes in and it's just like I am going to absolutely show you what drugs feel like. Hallucinatory train.
For sure. God, that was so fun. That like early pre-recorded, like it's not recorded. It was like essentially an extension of session zero, one shot kind of thing with a mass casualty event and kids are running around the hospital. And yeah, you just kind of were like, nah, look at how cool this one courtyard is. Boo. You're gonna love it in here. That was so funny. Gosh. So then when you're creating characters for TTRPGs and for actual plays or just, games at home, it doesn't need to be for an actual play by any means. Um, do you start like the character the same? Do you start building your character, whether it's mechanics or story or whatever, but do you start building it the same way every time, or is it different? Sometimes you start with the class and you're like, man, I haven't played a monk in a minute. Let's start with monk and we'll build the character around that. Or setting first, or is it like, you know what, I've been thinking about playing a character like this, like, I
Yeah.
don't know, a Dr. Frankenstein trope, and so I'm going to build an artificer and you attach. So do you start the same way every time? If so, how do you start? And if not, what are some of the ways?
Oh, that's a good question. I kind of start with, well, first, I love looking like I'm very thankful for like every single DM that I've ever gotten to play with, because like they have like some increasingly detailed notes and I'm just like, thank you. Thank you for like dropping all of this before we even started to play. Cause like what I'll do is I'll kind of like look at that, obviously. Like you want to please read everything your DM sends you.
Try
I'm
and read
begging
most of
you.
it.
Like at
DMs
least like
don't
a
you don't need to send everything. Here, you talk to the players and I'll talk to the DMs. DMs, you don't need to send 300 pages. Like,
but
calm
I
down a
need
little bit.
but I'm gonna need you to read at least 70% of what they tell you, because trust me, the story is in there. Like trust me.
You can
Um
skim it. You'll get by. If it's digital, you can control F. You'll find stuff.
oh yeah, please use the control Fs. I'm both. Use the control Fs. The look at the find your
It's
biggest feature.
such a huge feature. It's like, for me, it's the only thing I like about digital copies of TTRPGs and stuff. I like am so old school analog when it comes to like notebooks, when it comes to character sheets. Like
Yep.
every single time I host a D&D game and people are like, is there a D&D Beyond for this? And I'm like, no, I don't own anything on D&D Beyond. Why would I repay for all the things that you can get online for free
You're
if
like,
you
babes,
know
we're
where to
free.
look?
for freeballing this. I don't know what you thought this was.
What? I'm rebuying books I already have. No, thank you for the digital version. Get stuffed, D&D Beyond. We're never gonna
but
get sponsored by them. We're so fucked. God damn it.
but I think
Ah,
for but I think for like the characters that I end up creating, it's kind of just like reading what the concept is and then kind of seeing what because I'll spend like a good day or two just like at my computer kind of like reading like materials like not like in depth but like I'll read it and be like I would like to play this type of character. It's not necessarily like even like class or anything like that. It's just a concept. And it's just like a little bitty nugget of what I have in mind. Like for example, for a game that's coming up, I knew in my heart that I really wanted to play a girl who had like was at a crossroads of a choice and really didn't know what she wanted to do, really didn't know which path she wanted to take, but knew that like she was really interested in like death accepting things and wanted to kind
mm-hmm.
of honor not only her mother who is also a part of that, but wanted to kind of figure out how she was going to do it. Like that was my core concept into going into that game. But then when I made the character sheet and I wrote a little paragraph and gave it to my DM, like he was just like, this is like exactly what I was hoping that like, we would kind of get into because then he dropped and I wrote that before like he dropped like the actual like synopsis and I was just like, got him again, boy.
Hell yeah.
But
I do love it
sometimes
when a player like connects their character to the setting that I'm pitching or like the vibe. Because like I've like for the sake of actual plays, it's slightly different. Because normally you're
yeah.
approaching people and you're being like, "Hey, I have an idea for it." Because there's usually like, if you will, a showrunner or
Hmm.
something to that effect, where you're like, "Hey, here's the idea." So then
Yes.
like you're kind of hacking it where like you're already giving them at least a point of inspiration to build off of, whether you're giving a ton more lore past that or just the like build a healer, you're in a modern hospital that has fantasy and magic.
Yes.
What's the
And
deal?
like I think with Louis, it kind of almost started like that too, where it's just I wanted to just make this unapologetically joyous person. And I also had just never played a druid, also. Like, so
Oh yeah.
I was just like, why not? Why don't we just kill two birds with one stone? And then also in that concept of like, I want to play a person who cares about people's feelings, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
play a person who like is again unapologetically joyous even though like the job is stressful but at the same exact time she's just like what do I have to lose at this point my job like
Mm-hmm.
um
I mean, I will say there were moments where that like cool as a cucumber attitude maybe wasn't as present when there
mhm.
were times between a certain Dr. Zero Kelvin. I noticed a little bit of panic.
No, but that's like another thing too, because it's kind of just like you would see like, and I like, and you guys are gonna see it, but like, or saw it, but it's just like you kind of get her in these moments of just kind of just like la 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 la, like I could do like what and helping out kids and doing whatever she needs to do, but then it's like it's like when you kind of like find that like little nugget of a thing that you're not sure that you can obtain at
Mm,
all. And so you're kind of still in that realm of just like, I don't know if this is a thing, but he texted me.
mm-hmm.
So what do I do? Like
Yeah.
it's one of those. She panics when it comes to her personal life, professional life, cool as a cucumber.
Oh yeah. Do you have any tips, like as a performer in this context, when you're playing a character, and you have to make decisions on the spot or like anything like that? Do you go left or right? And you're like, in that crossroads, so to speak, like you used that phrase before. Uh,
Yeah.
how are you operating in that moment? How much of the decision process is like, to use a phrase that it's like famous in TTRPG circles, unfortunately only for bad reasons, it seems. How much of the decision making process during an actual play or any TTRPG game is it's what my character would do versus like Insha
Mm.
influencing things?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um,
Because I imagine it could be like, if you're creating pure fiction,
yeah.
I imagine it could be similar from a writing perspective. The difference being like you don't necessarily have to like worry about other people's opinions as much. Like you're not like, oh, I'm sharing this story with other people, so like maybe being a little more considerate at a TTRPG table,
Yeah.
which I think is where it gets its beef. Why the phrase gets shit is because it's been co-opted by red flags who don't know how to
Yeah.
play with others.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, like, I've been at tables where that kind of happens, and then like you get that character bleed where it's just like a lot of people will be like, well, that's what this character would do. And it's just
Mhm.
like, hear me out though. That was you talking to me. I know when you're talking to me, and I know when like this character is talking to me. The how you're talking to me is not going to stand. How that character is talking to me is a completely different thing.
Mhm.
Um, but I understand at the same time, like almost not being able to separate those, like if you really don't understand and know, like, you know, the separation. Um, however, I will say, um, when it does come to character bleed for me, I try my best in every situation to kind of like not only lead with, if you're gonna do character bleed, and I think like the thing about it is that you have to do it 100% carefully. You do not want to harm anybody at the table, and you also do not want to harm yourself. That is a number one. Do not ever play a character who's a dickhead, who you're going to keep being a dickhead outside of the table and then just be like, well, that was just what my character did. No, that's you. Stop it. But
Yeah.
I will say, when like, because I play a lot of characters who who come with a lot of emotion, and I'm a Cancer. I come with a lot of emotions as well. Um, but at the same exact time, there is a for me, I think there is a thing where I want to respect everybody who's around me, and I also try to respect the decisions that everybody, like, not try to, I respect the decisions that are being made, like everybody that's making them, even if like one person is telling me you don't do that, or another person is telling my character like do that. And it's like with both things you try to trust your gut,
Mm.
and you almost inside of your head kind of like left brain right brain the situation where it's just like, this is Louis, this is me. I need to go with something that Louis would do. Take me out of the equation, take me out of the process, take me out of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, but I understand, like, too, like how that, especially emotionally, how that can be a little bit of a difficult situation. And I do agree too that like a lot of red flag players will always be like, again, that was my character. Don't do that.
You
Don't
made
do
your
that.
character though.
Yeah, like that's the
Like
thing.
that
It's just like,
argument only goes so far. That's why it's so frustrating for me. Like I felt this way since I've entered the online TTRPG
Mhm.
space of like people immediately being like, that's the worst saying anyone can say. And I wanted to be like, it could be the best saying ever, actually. The problem is that bad people are using it to defend unexcusable behavior.
yeah,
Like the concept of like, oh, Justin, why did your character press the red button? I, I'm playing a character who has nothing to lose. Like it is what my character would do, and like also all the unwritten like it was cool with the table, like it went with the tone of the story. I
yeah,
wasn't spotlighting myself over and over again in a way that was annoying. Like, of course, there are other ramifications or like nuances to consider, but like sometimes you do want to do what the character would do. Like sometimes
Yeah.
that is helpful and it can be really interesting for the story. But when people design characters who are lone wolf assholes who don't want to be a part of a team, don't trust anybody, steal from their teammates and kill teammate, like then it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, you made an asshole. I'm not surprised your character's an asshole, but it feels like you're an ass. I don't know.
No,
It does get tricky to a certain point.
no, you're very much right. And I think that's like, I think that's when you kind of, the one thing that I like to do when it would seem that the character bleed is happening is just kind of like say, look at what you've made, like just like look at what you've made and just kind of say the journey so far is this. What in the mechanism of my character to relate to these characters, like what can I do to like help them? It's a collaborative storytelling game. You will like there's nothing that pisses me off more than like somebody creating that like lone wolf character, that like asshole in the dusk and like want to look at sunsets by themselves and then just go like, I'm just like so fucking dark and brooding. Okay, listen, you can be dark and brooding, but you have to get over here and hit something with us. Like I don't understand
I
what
know
this is.
it's yeah.
But like there's a balance there, right? There has to be a balance there. Obviously, your emotions are going to go with your character. That's your character. That's your blorbo, right? Like that is something that you created. You love it so much. You want to see them have a polite journey from beginning to end, even with some struggles and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
also you have to let go. And I think that's what a lot of people all like struggle with when it comes to like tabletop. Like my first two actual plays, I had a problem with letting go. But then in my third actual play, I was just like, we're in it to win, not even to win it. There's no winning in TTRPGs, but like we're in it to just have fun at the table with these
Yeah.
incredible storytellers that like we're all making these in these beautiful characters with impossible odds, and we're going up against all of this wild shit. Why don't we just act like our fucking characters and just like do it? And
Mhm.
again, of course, your emotions are going to get involved. That is your character. However, when you start to haphazardly or even that it's happening and you just start doing decisions and shit like that, you gotta leave the table. You gotta take a break. You gotta make sure that like you and the people that you're playing with are safe and are okay, especially you. Because if somebody were to come to me and just be like, hey, I'm having a really hard time, like especially like as a baby GM, if somebody were to tell me I'm having a really hard time with my character and like I feel like all of my stuff that I'm going through at home is like bleeding into my character, I'm just like, you need to take a break for a couple of sessions or you need to take a break for a bit, like, and then tell
Mhm.
me like, if you feel comfortable, what's happening? Are you
Yeah.
okay?
Play an
What's
NPC
going
for
on?
play like a random NPC for the next session or two who doesn't
Yeah.
have any reason to have
And no
these things
responsibilities
if you still want to play.
whatsoever.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think that like it it seems like it comes down to communication a lot as well. Cause it's like sometimes you do want to make risky choices and like it depends on the like established trust, the session zero of it all, that like the bought in integrity of the sessions and the storytelling and like where you're willing to go and everybody's boundaries and like all of these things that require communication so that you even know that they exist.
100%.
And therefore you can I use the example when I think of boundaries and stuff like that as the analogy I use is bowling. If there's no bumpers, I'm going to throw the ball a little slower. But god damn it, if there's bumpers, I can fucking whip it down. So like when there are boundaries and I know about them, that's good. I can go
Yes.
even crazier in the places that the boundaries are not.
Yes.
Boundaries don't limit you. They let you free. If
Yes.
you really think about it. It's like, yeah, okay, I can't make a story all about SA, but guess what? The other topics that we're allowed to talk about because it doesn't hit on anybody's topics or whatever,
Yeah.
we can go buck wild.
Yeah,
Leave that other thing in the past. Who cares about it?
I think that's the one thing that's like actually really nice about like tabletop as well. It's the level of communication that we all very much need to have. There's no there's no getting like I had like the other day with a session zero, I had like they like the GM was incredible. Like they did from top like tail to tip every single like thing on the safety sheet and we talked about all of it and it was just the it was eye-opening to kind of like see somebody and like you've done it too where it's just kind of like we talk about every single thing that's on there because of the fact that like we have to have a level of communication with each other
Hmm.
even if we're strangers and I think it's more important because of the fact that we're strangers
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people who like get cast in like TTRPGs are like they virtually don't know each other so like to build a community together, not only just in the tabletop space, but also just in this little nugget that we're playing right now. We just have to talk to each
It's
other.
so much
It's
easier.
so
I'm such a
simple.
big proponent of being proactive rather than reactive. Like
Mhm.
somebody who's like, I've been an RA in my life when I was in college. I've been in like
Oh, you
manager
brave soul.
positions. I've been a salesperson at like fancy gyms when like there's hardcore cancellation fees and different bullshit that people have to do. Do you know how easy it is to like cancel somebody's membership when you've like told them 10 times what the cancellation policy is so that when they come in to cancel, they're not upset because it's like, dog, I told you it was a 30-day policy. Like, you can't
Like
get
there's
as
no
mad at me as
surprise
normal.
hidden
Yeah,
fee
like
here.
I'm thorough as shit about stuff like that. I like the idea that I have to be like, oh, we didn't talk about this. Okay, here's the deal. That sucks. As
Yes.
opposed to being like, well, if you can recall, not that I would necessarily phrase it that way, but like,
Yeah,
remember?
no.
But okay. Um, Last question
Okay.
of our episode. This is easily our longest episode. I should have cut a lot of questions because of how long we were spending on things, but I was like, fuck it, 2 hour episode. Let's ball. So last question before getting into our one of our favorite segments. This question, what is it about making musical playlists for your characters that you like doing, and does it help you with like character stuff, or is it truly just like I love music and I like this character, so it's like this is what this character would listen to? Is that also like, yeah, like what are you picking? Are you picking like, okay, this playlist is for this character because like the songs kind of are like vibing with them, or is it like this is what this character would listen, like this character would love Hosier or something like that, or is it like or is it like take me to church fits the vibe of this character, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how are you making the selections?
No, that's like a really good question because like me myself, I put a lot of thought into what would I do it for my books as well, especially The Girl Who Loves Monsters. That was a really big labor of love because I was just like, I need to know the vibe of every single one of these people. Like, right, like my dad character in that he loves like alternative like music from like the early 2000s 19 like 90s my main character Charlotte, she loves Rob Zombie and she loves like the same music that her dad does because like introduced it to her way too early as a kid, so like Black
Mm-hmm,
Hole
mm-hmm.
Sun is like in their house. um but I think for like a lot of like tabletop characters, especially because like some tabletop characters like you don't get to be with for too long.
Mm.
And I love to pick music off of not only just like the vibes of that character, but I always kind of think of it as what were their lives like before this?
Mm.
Like I kind of try to tell a story of who they were to where they are now. And even with like Louis, I have a lot of Luffy on there because she's such a lover girl that like it just becomes apparently clear that that's a thing. But I also have like a couple of like Portishead songs because I feel like that's what she would listen to zen out in her office.
Mm,
Um, and even before that, like kind of like going into her older life, like there had to be probably a lot of like Etta James and like these old like Hollywood-esque tunes because like her like I imagine her parents and her mom and her dad being like completely different from how she is right now. But it's kind of just like I almost base the tunes off of not only vibes but of personal history of that character and of when they put on their headphones and when they're listening to their turntables or anything at night, like what do they hear? Like what
mm,
makes them feel like a baddie? What makes them feel like a lover girl? What makes them feel like any of these things?
mm-hmm.
Um and because I have such a wider range of music, I will also like pick things from like very different genres unless like it has something to do with like the one character that I'm creating. Like for a medieval character that I had made, I have a lot of movie soundtracks like The Green Knight, Mandy.
Oof,
Um,
I saw Green Knight recently. Holy shit.
so good.
Dude, I will say, watch that one during the day also. Roommate did walk by during an interesting scene. Dev Patel, what are you doing? Oh no. Just a quick handy over here. I was like, damn, bro. Kate, close your eyes. Like, oh no. It was crazy.
But like a
Great
lot of
movie though.
like
Great
no
movie. The
great
color palette. That
the
movie for
color
me was
palette is
all color. It was just like all I
yes.
could think about was like, how do I color correct my shit to look like this? Like,
Yes.
there's got to be a filter somewhere I could grab.
Yes, and like yeah,
Beautiful.
I feel like you would also like it's also a daylight movie, but I also feel like you would like Mandy. Mandy is one of those movies that when I
Sounds so
first saw it,
familiar.
I I cried first of all because I think it's one of the most beautiful movies by
Mandy.
Panos Cosmonaut, Cosmos, Panos.
Yeah, I am looking at it. Okay, Nicolas Cage. I did hear about this, and I did hear that it was received pretty well.
It's so beautiful. And like even like what's happening in the movie, it's just it it's so weirdly satisfying and very cosmic horror-y and otherworldly and it's one of those films that like really get you going but like with yeah like with music it's just again like a part just their vibe just what they listen to at night and just like what their history is. I always try to focus on the history because if I don't focus on the history, I want to know who you are and I want to know where you're from and I want to know like your being as a person. Like that's
Yeah.
really how I want to come into character too. Like a lot of people and I thank everybody who has ever said it where they're just kind of like your characters feel so lived in and your characters feel so like normal people and I was just like yeah, because like I want them to feel like they can live beside of you, like beside you, or you can see them on the street,
Mm-hmm.
or like you just kind of talk to them once and you're like never gonna kind of like forget that person. Like I played a
Yeah.
whole Dommy Mommy on like another game, and I was just like
Heck
the
yeah.
vibes of that playlist
We're different.
incredible, in
Yeah, I bet.
peak,
I
peak.
bet.
But
Whoa.
yeah,
Dami Mommy. Here's some songs that come to mind. Ready? 1 Minute Man by Missy Elliott is the first one.
my God.
Wait, I'm not ready. I'm still going. I want to say there's a song, Candy Shop by
Oh,
50 Cent, Lil Kim. I It's so weird. I grew up, my first CD that I ever bought was Nelly, Country Grammar. I just like found hip hop really early. Grew up in a predominantly white high school. There's no reason for me to like have found this. It just like happened. I think because my mom liked hip hop.
mhm.
And so it just like found its way to me. Like I saw Nelly in concert and I called my mom of all people. I was in the mosh pit. I was like pushing girls out of the way because I was like, you don't even know the words. Let me get closer to the stage. You don't know the words to Dilemma. Called my mom. Mom, they're playing Dilemma. like I love hip hop. So like it makes I'm thinking that that's where my brain is going for a lot of these.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
to
yeah.
mention, I mean, there's like some trap music and stuff that I maybe would associate with that just based on the phrase Dami Mommy. Obviously, I don't know this character and I don't want to assume anything just based on that one characterization. Obviously, there's a multitude of Dami Mommies.
Yeah. And like the
No
stuff that
two
I
Dami Mommies are the same, is what I'm
and the
saying.
and the stuff that I literally have on here for because her name was Josie. But
Hell
this
yeah.
for this I have like Wolf Alice, Lola Young, The Last Dinner Party, Mannequin Pussy, Lucy Dacus, Idols, Warpaint, The Kills, like all of these different.
Hmm.
Oh, Meg Myers is a big one. Sounds like Alanis Morissette. No, Fiona Apple, not Fiona Apple. Beyonce. Um, Oh God, there's a
Partition.
Nessa. There's honestly because of the fact of her history, it's daddy lessons.
Okay.
Um, and then like Ash Nico. And then
Mm.
there's a Nessa Barrett song that I need everybody to listen to because I need this girl to be a bigger star. She's a Gen Zer and a TikToker, and I really don't care. I just like her music. It's called Porn Star. I need everybody to listen to that song once.
Oh yeah. That's so funny. That's so funny. I do think like this kind of stuff can be so helpful, even if like people aren't as into music or like don't want to make like a full playlist or something. I've had like you could even just do something as simple as like really really simple questions, just like
Yes.
even if you were like you're playing a fantasy medieval game and it's like obviously movies don't exist, but you could still just be like if your character knew about the movies of today, what movie would be their
Yes.
favorite? And starting to think about those things of like, whoa, what would my artificer love? Like, oh, if my artificer was a wrestler, what would their walkout song be? Oh, that is interesting. And like you answer enough of those that when it gets to the moment in the game where you're improving, you're like, shit, I have done this already so many
Yes.
times where I've put myself in the character's shoes that I can kind of it just makes the reaction time faster and so then it becomes more natural and stuff and then you start to get more
Yeah.
connected to your character.
It's
I think all that stuff
especially
helps so much.
yeah, especially since like you like with all of the stuff that like you have too. Like I do the same thing. Like I'll make a Pinterest board real fast.
Mm.
I will do um I will do playlists. I started this thing in my letterbox, like it's kind of secret and it's like on my back burner of like my list because I have way too many. But every single character that I've ever played that like is in kind of like a short form campaign-ish and then also the long form campaigns, all of them have their top four because I refuse. I refuse to let every single character I make go without movies. I refuse.
What is Louis Grimshaw's some of their top four?
Oh God. Um Dead
Now
Ringers by
I'm just
David Cronenberg.
okay, amazing. Wow. I forgot how
um
similar you two are. It's so funny. My brain sometimes does really just go for the easiest first. I'm a big first thought, best thought person. So it's like literally just because your character is in a medical facility, my first thought was John Q. Was my brain? I can't think of a single like medical movie for some reason right now. All I can think about is John Q.
like I think it's gonna be so funny because I think hers is Dead Ringers. There's a great movie called Safe with Julianne Moore, and I think that would
Hmm.
probably be in there. Um
Is
there's
that the safe room one?
no, it's like Julianne Moore kind of like gets like this like cough or something like that, and then it spirals into
Whoa,
something completely different. It's
woof.
it's wild, yeah. Um,
Mm.
oh, American Mary is another one that I think she would absolutely love. That is about a woman who kind of does like has like underground surgeries and she kind of like ends up doing stuff with like her clientele that like isn't necessarily deemed like normal or safe.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
and then I think her last one would be oh God.
I just thought of another crazy one, like Turistas.
Oh, that would be a good one. Oh my God. Ah,
There's like some medical stuff in there. I don't know.
I think her last
As you
one
can
would be
imagine, I haven't seen that whole movie, but I remember being like just interested enough in the plot because it's not like I don't appreciate the genre.
yeah,
So like there
no.
are times where I see trailers or like maybe I even only see a little bit of the trailer, but like where I'm like, damn, that does look interesting. And I'm like, but I don't know if I will. Like I did watch because there's like what I consider what in my brain, just for the ease of genre names,
Yeah.
what I in my brain I'm like horror is like, will I watch that movie? And for so if I will,
Yeah.
then it's not horror. So like, nope. I loved the movie Nope. I thought it was fantastic. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not literally horror or like genre wise, but
Yeah.
for my own brain. Uh, because I loved Nope. I thought that was fantastic. I
No, it's such a good
was
movie.
a
It's such a good
big
movie.
fan.
Um,
Um, wow. We've
I
talked
feel
about literally so much. I could
yeah.
ask 1,000 more questions, but we simply must move on. And it is that time of the week again. You know what time it is? It's that time of the week again. Monster of the week. Oh, okay. That's all it is. It's just a quick one.
So good.
Intro, I understand that you've brought a monster with you today. Can you please tell us about this monster? I'm so excited.
Yes. So I cannot say the name of it. I'm gonna butcher it. So like if there's any like Irish or Scottish listeners out there like who are legitimately from like Ireland and Scotland, I'm very, very sorry. I'm going to butcher it. I love this creature though. Is the Doparshu, which is like kind of translate to water dog or water hound or the king otter. Um
Whoa.
and fun fact about Insha, I love otters so much. I think they are amazing. I want to get this creature on my body in some way as a tattoo because I find it absolutely fascinating. So it's it a lot of people have described it as a dog.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have described it as like a fish, but at the same exact
Irish
time,
crocodile. I just Googled it. I'm on a cryptids website. One of the names for it is Irish crocodile.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Like, and it's primarily in like Ireland or Scotland, and like allegedly people haven't seen it, but like there apparently is some cases where people have seen it. And there was like one where allegedly the king otter attacked a woman and then just kind of like hung out at the gravestone for a bit. And I was
Mm,
just like, that's my petty king. I love him. That is man after my own, like a little otter after my own heart. Um,
yeah. Yeah.
but it is one of the God, it's just one of the like creatures that I love. I love cryptids. And then I wrote about this one in a book that will never come out, unfortunately. But it makes me so happy to know that like a big ass cryptid otter exists, and I want to just see it for myself.
It's it's pretty fascinating, I must say. I mean, I'm a big fan of cryptids also. As you can imagine, being somebody who's like hyper skeptical about stuff like this, I just find it fascinating regardless. Like, um, anything like this kind of stuff, it's always so interesting to me, especially like for me, there's the wiki page that's like cryptids.fandom.com/wiki, whatever, and it's cryptids with a Z. Whoever's running that page, God bless you. Because I'll tell you what, the way they write the articles is just so good. And I doubt that it's the same person for every article or anything like that. But like some of them are written like borderline poetic, where you're like, what is going on? Uh, I really do I appreciate the people who make these kind of websites where it's like, you don't have to make this website, but you did it. And I'm glad you did because how else would I have known about the Dobar shoe if not for Insha? That being said, I so like okay, sea otter, it's attacking things. It's petty. I love that because I'm petty. I'm very petty.
I am also petty.
I I remember one time I got a question as an icebreaker before a D&D game.
Mhm.
was like, what's like a petty thing your character would do to get revenge? Like, not like, we're not talking like murder, but like
Yep.
a petty thing that your character would do to get revenge. Somebody slighted you. How would your character get revenge? I'm playing a character who I found, first of all, artwork wise, I found artwork on Pinterest of like femme Gojo from from Jujutsu Kaisen, like just like a female version of Gojo. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. I'm playing that. And then um uh I decided that they were like an assassin and they had this really dark life, like childhood became like was sold to the assassin place and like grew up as an assassin, like Black Sparrow or like whatever, Black Widow style kind of vibes, right? Um, then broke out of that, like was supposed to kill a monk. The monks end up taking me in. That's why I'm a monk. And then like all of these other things. And so I'm like this hardened asshole character, like not asshole, excuse me, hardened character of just like very little emotion, very like hardcore and stuff like that. And I'm presented with this question of like, what petty little thing would you do to get back to somebody? And my answer was like, which I stole from an episode of Barry. But like I said, so I would break into their house, right? And I'm going to steal their dog. And then I'm going to replace their dog with a slightly different dog. And that's it. And that's it.
See, that's like the level. See. Okay, like those are like the character choices though that are so good because that is it's literally just you're gonna look at this dog and you may go mental because is that
Yeah.
my dog
You'd be like, I
or
swear
is that
that's not my
somebody
dog.
else's dog?
It's not answering me at all. Looks exactly, that's a golden doodle for sure. It's not answering. So yeah. I love stuff like that. It's so funny to me. So well, we simply must end the episode. Insha, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for entertaining all of our questions. Where can everybody find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Instagram with 2 eyes. You can also like go to my website, inshafitzpatrick.com. And I'm also like on Blue Sky, I guess. Not really. I only stick to one social media website because I don't like to be perceived. Except for in these cases, because I love tabletop and I love actual play. But I'm on Blue Sky on at Night of the Fits and Threads as Instagram. And yeah, buy my book.
Incredible. Do it. There will be links in the description. Well, gang, that's all the time we can get into. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at So You Want to Be a DM, or you can ask us a question at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com. If you liked the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars and a review wherever you found us, and check out our Patreon, YouTube, and merch with the link in the description. Join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks. Bye.
Hey gang, it's Justin. I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Nut Muffins, may Palor's light shine upon you. Marsavies, have you watered your flesh prison lately? Yazvai, the eternal library, where color and community await you. Molly Adeza, who gets yet another level up. Amy Rose Zero, today, don't forget to touch grass, be kind, and resist fascism. And there's Caden, Elijah, Tappy, and Linguini. Gang, we appreciate and love you. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Want to Be a DM.